Why would I give it up? Why do they want to come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation.
ATP, what it do? It's your boy Rain. Yeah, it's that ATP Combat Media Show. You know we back at it again. Shout out to all my subscribers. And of course, if this is your first time tapping into the content, I do invite you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit your bell icons as well, so you are getting alerts when all this content is dropping. So look, it's out there right now. It was a rumor. It was a rumor, right? And now it seems to be damn near confirmed that it looks like Tank Davis and Lamont Roach is going to be the next fight. And this looks like it's getting pushed out to like December. If you guys aren't familiar with Lamont Roach, he's a 130-pound weight class WBA champion, right? Beat Hector Garcia, was it last year sometime? Beat him for that title, and has defended the title once since he's had the title. So he's a tried true champion at 130 pounds. And Tank Davis looks like he's going to be bringing him up from 130 pounds to fight him at 135 pounds to challenge Tank for his WBA championship title. What are my thoughts on this? Well, look, it's important for Gervonta to stay active, right? I understand that. And if this is the only fight that could be made, this is the best fight that he can make right now under the circumstances where it looks like a lot of fighters right now that Tank and his team are interested in fighting are either preoccupied with other fights or just are not happy with offers that are coming across the table to fight them, right? Lomachenko seems to have some indifference with an offer that was put out to him when they were last negotiating and stated, listen, I just want to go play with my kids and hang out with my wife, catch up on family time. I'm not interested in fighting this year. Later on, information coming out or rumors coming out that Lomachenko was actually disappointed with the offer that was on the table when he made that decision, and that's why he didn't jump on fighting Tank Davis. And Shakur Stevenson, of course, was a free agent. Now, although that's really an interesting one because he was a free agent and available to fight Tank Davis. Actually, on an interview, that it was like an interview done on Fanon International Boxing where Shakur Stevenson, I believe Kenny Ellis, and Fanon were on a panel where Shakur said that he was available to fight, and that, that's what I understood, right? And Shakur confirmed that Tank Davis's team did reach out to him, confirmed with him his availability, but never reached back out to him with an offer. I think that's very interesting. It's something that just from my eye seeing it, I've always been kind of concerned, or not concerned as much as had questions as to why that didn't go to another level in a negotiation process to turn into an actual offer by Tank Davis's team. We can speak about that a little bit as well in this video, but ultimately Shakur was just not an option at that time for Tank Davis's team to put an offer out there, and nor does it seem that any other fighter who's on that list that Gervonta supposedly has of fighters that he wants to fight. Now, they also reached out to the Rayo Venezuela team. If you guys remember, Ryan Venezuela, who used to fight at 135, actually had an opportunity to fight Isaac Cruz, who also used to be 135 pounds. He fought him recently on a Riyadh season card in Los Angeles, and Rayo Venezuela, aka Rayo Venezuela, real name Jose Valenzuela, right? Won that fight and became the WBA 140-pound super lightweight or junior welterweight champion, however you want to look at it. Became a champion up there. Rumor is that Tank Davis's team reached out to him to try to put together something, and that Rayo Venezuela wouldn't concede to the weight restrictions, right? To the idea that he had to come down to 135 pounds to fight Tank Davis. Just didn't have enough time as far as he was concerned to do that weight cut in a healthy way, and just wasn't going to put himself in that situation, being that he just got some light. He finally's getting some accolades and some recognition for what he brings to the table. If you guys remember, Last year, Chris Colbert and Raul Venezuela had one of the fight of the years, right? Knockout of the year when Raul Venezuela was able to avenge a loss that a lot of people debated was stolen from him, that Chris Colbert got the decision but didn't deserve the decision. He was able to avenge it by knocking Chris Colbert out. Literally a knockout of the year candidate for knockout of the year performance, and got that back. But that fight was also a WBA, if I'm correct, it was a WBA mandatory eliminator or championship. It was a title eliminator fight. He won it, which put him pretty much as the next up to fight Tank Davis, right? As a potential mandatory to fight Tank Davis. But rumors you could say what was going on in the street is that wasn't a fight that Tank was really interested in, that he was interested in starting this new chapter in his career where he did a new deal with Amazon. He was doing PBC was moving from Showtime. He was going to get a whole new custom deal for him that was going to involve fights where Ryan Venezuela just didn't make the list, didn't make the cut, right? But things change as Ryan Venezuela has done a lot for himself, as I stated to you. Moved up to super lightweight or junior welterweight division, or however you want to look at it, and became a WBA champion. So I guess this fight now seems interesting for Tank Davis's team. But as I stated, Robert Garcia, Raul Venezuela, basically, acknowledged the attempt to reach out, but at the same time said it was a little bit of time. And for them to cut that weight, they weren't interested in going down to 135 to compete against Tank Davis without having every box checked as far as their preparation is concerned to make that fight happen. So I'm not sure what other avenues were explored. I heard rumors of De Los Santos. I've just heard so many different rumors when it comes to this, but not only fighter who's actually confirmed an actual offer would have been Raul Venezuela, right? His team who basically turned down the offer, and it looks like Lamont Roach. I don't know why Tank Davis's team or whoever represents him, whether it's a TGB or PBC, whoever it is that coordinates and reaches out to these fighters to make these fights, why they haven't sent offers out to one of these 6 on that list. Because last I heard from people like Kenny Ellis, there's a list that Tank Davis wants to fight. He's rejected other fighters. I remember Keyshawn Davis having a conversation on Mill City about wanting to fight Tank Davis, and Kenny Ellis letting Keyshawn know you're not on the list. That's why you're not going to fight. So that's confirming one way or another that there is a list. My question is, was Lamont Roach on that list? And if he was, why would Lamont Roach be on that list? 130-pound fighters, not even your weight class. Why would he be on the list of fighters you feel need to fight? You need to fight. I don't know. But from the way it looks from the outside looking in, it looks like it's the best they could do. That's one of those situations where activity takes precedence over everything else, and him being active and fighting and staying in the ring so he doesn't sit out the ring for 14 months like he did after he fought Ryan Garcia. This is the best option. And if this is the best option that they can put together, then who am I to complain, right? This is what it is. Lamont Roach is a great fighter from out of Washington, D.C. He's a great fighter. I don't know if he's going to be able, I don't know if he brings his last fight that he fought, which I could pull up, but it was a fight where he really chose to sit down on his punches a lot. He really showed a lot of power in that fight. But normally I picture Lamont Roach as a boxer, right? Somebody who's going to outpoint you. If he can knock you out, he will, but he's not looking for it because he's really just a slick fighter who's looking to outpoint you. So this fighter seems like not the fighter that I think people would ask for to fight against Tank Davis, but a good fighter regardless, a champion, right? A weight class under Tank Davis, but a champion regardless. So I guess, we'll see how that fight turns out. I guess they're pushing out for December. I mean, I don't have much more to say about it, right, guys? I don't know what you want me to say. I think some people are going to be upset about this fight, obviously, because, people have fights that they want Tank to be in at this point in his career. He said he was coming for ninjas, right? At the Frank Martin press conference, he said he was coming for ninjas and that he has a list of fighters. And there are going to be a lot of people who are disappointed with the selection of fighters. They don't understand. It could look like a cherry pick from the outside looking in. It could look like a stylistically perfectly custom-made fight for Tank Davis, to do what he does, which is stop people, right? It could look like that. But look, coming off of a fight with Frank Martin on his last fight, which I think Frank Martin was a contender, showed different parts of Tank Davis's fighting arsenal, the tools that he has in his bag, was able to walk him down, cut the ring off, corner him, a boxer, puncher, somewhat slick boxer, was able to stop him. And that was a good fight. So maybe this fight, maybe after this fight, we'll see some opportunities open up for some other fights to be made. I do question the ability for whoever's managing him, whether it's TGB, whether it's Amazon Prime, whether it's PBC. You never really know at the end of the day. Might just be GTD, being that he has his own promotional company. But it does seem like the offers coming across the table, and also adding Teofimo Lopez to it, right? That he's asking for a lot of money, supposedly, from what I understand, just asking for too much, and that's why that fight can't be put together. But it does seem like there's a limited budget on how much the team is either willing to or able to pay out to get these big fights. I don't know if the budget opens up a little bit more in the earlier part of next year, or if the negotiation, I don't know if there's certain perks that can be opened up in the negotiation process that can entice a fighter of generational talent magnitude to compromise or concede something that would give them some vested interest in fighting Tank Davis. Because as I mentioned in an older video, Tank Davis, in my opinion, doesn't really bring the legacy factor to the table as much, right? As much as he brings the payday to the table. The legacy is there. He's a great fighter, generational talent, but he's holding on to a WBA title that he's held on to for years. He's never unified. He's not, he fights champions, but the champions he fought are either former champions or champions from lower weight classes, or, you can use the Mario Barrios, but even his title was some sort of an interim WBA title that he held at 140 as well. Turns out it wasn't the actual full WBA title up there. So, the accolades don't necessarily come with Tank as much as the payday. The payday is a very, very important aspect of fighting Tank Davis. I mean, without the payday, Tank Davis becomes a Jerome Boots Ennis, right? He becomes a David Benavidez. He becomes somebody who's high risk and low reward because, Tank is who Tank is. So the payday has to make sense for a lot of these fighters to sign and give Tank what he wants, which is his legacy fights. So it looks like the PBC or TGB or Tank Davis is going to have to figure this out, right? They're going to have to figure out what they're willing to concede and have to remember the reason they're the A side, being that they fill out the stadiums, that they sell the pay-per-views, that they're offering fighters their biggest paydays. They may need to up that with the caliber of fighter they're now choosing to get involved with and fight in the ring, right? The fighters that Tank wants to fight. You guys let me know what you think about it. What do you think about this Lamont Roach fight? I mean, I'll be honest with you, I'm not that excited about the fight, right? Why lie to you and say I'm not excited for that fight? I don't think Lamont Roach is going to compete well with Tank Davis. Hopefully he does. But I think there's a lot of other fights that we want to see Tank fight. And, people say the face of boxing, and they try to, when they say that, you think about Canelo Alvarez. And last time I checked, Canelo Alvarez fights who Canelo Alvarez wants to fight. He makes the fights. When he wants the fights, he puts the word in. Whoever's representing him, whether it's Al Heyman now, whether it's Eddie Hearn back in the day, whoever it is, that's who that promoter goes and he chases down, because he's the face of boxing. He's the payday. He's the biggest star in boxing. If Tank Davis truly is the face of boxing, and this is what his fans want to say, then at the end of the day, what has to be understood is that the face of boxing should be able to make the fights he wants to make. Now, I hear everybody talking about you can't make a fighter fight a fight they don't want to fight, right? But if there's an offer made, if there's an intent to fight offer made, then we can now push the pressure over to the B side of the conversation. And let's see if they turn down the offer. Then we can begin to talk about those we can't make them fight scenarios. But until that happens, like I said, from the outside looking in, of course, we're never privy to what's going on the inside and what's moving around. But Tank Davis, Lamont Roach, supposedly mid-December. Let's see how it unfolds, and let's see what else news comes out about this or surrounding this topic. It's your boy Claymore Rain. This is the ATP Combat Media Show. Shout out to all my subscribers. Again, you guys are such great supporters of the channel. I really appreciate you guys. Watch out for the live tonight. We're going up. So much boxing to talk about. If this is your first time tapping into the content, hit the subscribe button. Come on over to the live tonight too. We can build about this. Anthony Joshua fight this weekend. We got fights coming up this weekend. We got Bruce Shushu Carrington fighting this weekend. We got Xander Zayas fighting this weekend. We got Ryan and Mayer fighting this weekend. We've got so many things coming down the pipeline as far as fights are concerned, and we're going to try to talk about as much of it as we can tonight. It's your boy Rain. It's the ATP Combat Media Show. And at this point, we out.